At Tier 1 Setup Shop,
Yes, it
we're
is.
not
I
just
have
setup
watched.
builders. We're racers, league admins, and part of the same sim community you are. We build setups for the full NASCAR ladder, Cup, Xfinity, Trucks, ARCA, and the grassroots warriors of short track racing, late models, legends, SK, and tour mods, all tested and refined in real race conditions. We listen, we adjust, we improve, because your input makes our setups better.
Are you looking for a league that has racing 3 nights a week or special event races? Tier 1 Racing League is here for you. Most races are broadcasted by our very own Tier 1 studio. From dirt track to super speedways, Tier 1 has side-by-side racing with real drivers and real rivalries. If you wish to join us, go to our website, tier1racingleague.com, where you can find our Discord link and much more information. Don't forget to subscribe to our Tier 1 Studio YouTube and Twitch channels so you don't miss the action.
Are you ready to take your Twitch and Discord experience to the next level? Introducing EasyDayBot, your ultimate bot for seamless interaction. Whether you're live on Twitch or chatting on Discord, EasyDayBot's dynamic responses open up a whole new world of possibilities. Engage with your community like never before through unique prompts, custom reactions, and endless fun. It's the bot that understands you. Make every day an Easy Day download now at easydaybot.com.
New to Tier 1, first-time customers get 30% off your first purchase, excluding subscriptions. And if you're a streamer, league, or broadcaster, join our sponsorship program. Share your code, your community gets 10% off, and you earn $1 per setup sold with it. Tier 1 Setup Shop. Built with you, built for you. Every lap, every week.
Welcome to Dover Motor Speedway. I'm so excited for tonight's action, as I know you are too. This is the Tier 1 Racing League, and specifically the Tier 1 Truck Series in their penultimate race for the championship. Welcome, my name is Zach Woods. Joined with me in Tier 1 Studios is our producer, Brett Bullard, and we are so honored that you would be able to tune in, to like, comment, subscribe to what's going on here tonight here at Dover. Yes, these drivers are going to traverse this tricky 1 mile concrete oval where Miles the Monster is constantly looking to attack these Truck Series drivers. Some patience and ultimately some precision will be the deciding factor in who continues their quest for the championship and who will be mathematically eliminated before next week's final race of the Tier 1 Truck Series season. 130 laps here around Dover tonight, and we will be able to have stage information and all that stuff later on for you guys as the drivers are still qualifying, trying to take advantage of this 5-minute session. But you can see here on the screen some track information that you might be tuning in for and getting ready to root on your favorite driver here in Tier 1 Racing League. Yes, it's a 1 mile concrete oval, and temperature today will feature a 90-degree track temp. These drivers are going to be hunting for grip specifically around the bottom of the racetrack, but you got to be careful. That apron down there, she's a cruel mistress, and it will be able to turn a truck around quicker than you can blink. And these drivers also on the opposite end of the racetrack, you can see that in our shot actually back behind the track graphic. In the corners, we're going to be talking about marbles tonight, about how the track does clean itself eventually and yet does take so much extra time to rubber in. Marbles on the top of the racetrack could plague a driver's quest for a championship tonight. So Danger down low, danger up high. Where will these drivers make passes? More than likely, rolling the car through the center of the corner well and trying not to get bit by that turn 2 fence. That is also going to be a problematic area for these drivers that seek to attack Dover International Speedway. Really excited to bring tonight's action to you. Let's bring up the Tier 1 Truck Series point standings here for you guys real quick, just to set the scene for who is racing for what. Justin Sumner continues his time at the top as he's able to secure a win and now is looking forward towards a championship. He sits at the top of the pylon with Eddie Baker right behind him, 7 points, sitting in second with Dakota Ramsdell. Steady Dakota sitting back there in third place, 20 points away from the top spot. Greg Wood Jr. Will not be making tonight's race, and also he won't be making next week's race. So Greg holding fourth down right now, but ultimately will not be in the chase for the championship from here on in. Matthew Erickson, our in-race reporter for tonight, 44 points out, sitting in P5, and Jared Hayes sitting 48 back of the front. Drivers now coming out, trying to utilize some warm-up time. Let's try to hear from our in-race reporter, Matthew Erickson, and get a bead on what Dover is doing tonight. Matt, it's Zach up in the booth. You have a copy?
I do, Zach. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Matt. You are sitting 44 points away from the leader here at Dover. And Dover is a very unique racetrack, obviously. Its surface is much different than many of the tracks we wind up going to. Talk to the fans out there about what you've learned from practice and how you feel this 28 machine is going to be able to traverse the racetrack.
Well, it's concrete track, so it chews up tires quickly. What I've found so far is if I enter in the middle of 1 and 2 and then drop down to hit the low end on the exit, I can usually keep the truck pretty straight. Coming out of 2 and 4, especially out of 2, there's a little hill right on the exit of turn 2, and if you hit that incorrectly, it pushes your truck sideways or into the wall. So the goal is to avoid that and try and get some stage points and see if I can cut into that 44-point deficit and see where we end up at the end.
So don't wreck. Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we talked about at the top of the show how the apron is dangerous here at Dover, but then also up next to the wall, there's tons of marbles and stuff out there. Were you able to sort of steer clear of all those marbles in the corner? I mean, we can see them on our screen. They are very, very relevant right now.
They're there. So far in practice, I've been able to stay away from them, but we've been pretty much running single file. So we haven't really done a lot of side-by-side racing yet. So I think that'll come into play when you got 2 trucks side-by-side going into the corner. Someone's going to go up high, and once you get into those things, it's like riding on ice.
All right. Well, Matt, we're going to let you go back to warm-up here, but we'll get you at the end of Stage 1, Stage 2. If you snag a podium tonight, then we'll get you 3 times here tonight.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
That's our in-race reporter, Matthew Erickson, making sure he is trying to be as well prepared as possible. A couple of these other drivers that you know of, driver of the number 46 Superflow machine. This is Jared Hayes. We're going to be on board with Jared here for a lap around Dover. And you can see how that truck instantly seeks to hug the bottom. And it's going to come out of the corner. And right there, that truck gets super floaty coming back up the hill. Diving back down into 3 and 4, trying not to get sideways, especially on new tires. These trucks can glide through the corners, and it's a little uncomfortable. Jared got a nice quick lap right there. Trying to be smooth, and I think that problem area of the exit of turn 2 is going to be our big highlight area of the night. Go to Ramsdell, driver out of Paradise, Texas, looking to eat into the points lead before next week's action. He's got a long road ahead of him, but it's not an insurmountable thing. You know, he's 20 points out. We know he can do well in some stage racing action. Very curious to see what the 83 does in terms of aggression early on here. If there's anybody in the field that I think can probably use some aggression early on. Make your truck wide. Be able to stay out front. It's this guy. He needs every point you can possibly get tonight in order to put himself in a better place for next week. There's our in-race reporter, Matthew Erickson, talking about that middle to low lane in the corners. Followed behind him by Bill Sleep. These two drivers trying to do everything they can, and there goes Matt on the exit of turn 2. Doing something that we're also probably going to talk about tonight, about how Dover is a self-cleaning racetrack where the drivers do rack up high, but the way that the track is banked, you work your way down the hill, no matter where you are, whether it be on the front stretch or in the corners or on the back stretch, and the cars mostly end up in a pile down there towards the inside wall. Where on many tracks, drivers dart to the inside and try to find a clear lane in order to escape the chaos. You can't really do that here because the wreck will wind up in your lap. So being up next to the fence, especially on the straightaways, that's a safe place to be. Pit road entry also challenging tonight. Maybe we'll see some green flag pit stops there towards the end of stage 3. We're going to transition now from the warm-up session into what will be the penultimate race session of the Tier 1 Truck Series season. Really excited to bring this action to you guys. Let's bring up the qualifying order tonight for some Tier 1 Truck Series action at Dover. Only 8 drivers here in the field tonight. Eddie Baker piloting the 84 machine. And he's trying to catch Justin Sumner in the points. Those two will be row number 1. Followed by Dakota Ramsdell. Look at the difference between first, second, and third in terms of timing and scoring. There's not a lot between the top 3 drivers. Air Blair is Blair Roussel. We keep trying to hint to Blair here on air. You got to change your name in SDK. So maybe he'll finally get it done next week. But Air Blair rolling off in P4. Trucks are on the racetrack now.
I know
stages are going to be on lap 32 and
32 or
65.
33, stage 1.
What are the stages?
And I hope you're as excited as I am for tonight's race, because there's a lot on the line for these drivers here in the Truck Series. Trying to do everything they can to maximize stage racing. What kind of strategies can we see tonight? Different agendas are going on. There's drivers that are racing tonight that aren't racing for a championship, that are only racing for glory, that are only racing for one more chance at a checkered flag. What are they willing to do in the face of some fierce competition? The drivers of the Tier 1 Truck Series looking to take the green flag here at Dover side by side are going to be points contenders 1 and 2, Eddie Baker and Justin Sumner. Baker leads them to the green flag here at Dover. Be interesting to see how these drivers navigate restarts here. Traction on cold tires here on a concrete racetrack. It doesn't always work. These drivers quickly getting single file now as Justin Sumner able to make that top line work through 1 and 2, carry the momentum down the back straightaway and lead lap 1. Now Eddie Baker under attack by Dakota Ramsdell. Dakota doing everything he can to get some track position early. I'd be curious to know as the night wears on about how these trucks seek to handle on the longer run. It seems like a lot of these guys are already battling loose conditions. Does that get worse as the tires wear out? Or do you find the rhythm? Because the good thing about Dover is that there is a guarantee. The track will rubber in. It just takes so long for that to happen on the concrete surface. Just like in real life, here in iRacing, those conditions remain the same. So, as the track continues to have long green flag runs, that bottom lane can be very enticing for drivers to try to wrap the bottom. Right now, everybody's searching for grip. Blair Roussel seeks to cut into the 3rd position. Matthew Erickson back here in 6th place. Just trying to stay ahead of Frank Chavez and Bill Sleep fighting for 7th and 8th. Frank a little loose there off the corner, but they're all chasing Justin Sumner up front right now, who's pulled out to a half-second lead there on Eddie Baker. Love that shot all the way down the backstretch. You can just see the elevation change coming out of the corner and coming up towards the fence. It's not as prominent there off of turn 4, but Justin Sumner finding his rhythm early. Almost up to 0.6 of a second now on Eddie Baker rather. And this track's all about throttle input. Trying to understand, okay, how hard can I push the truck through the center of the corner? How hard can I push the truck coming out of seemingly this huge valley up the hill, trying to make it also turn left to not hit the fence coming out of each corner. And every driver's a little different. Your throttle input is going to change from preference to preference, and that's going to dictate what tire of the race truck you're going to drive off of. Is it going to be the right rear? Is it going to be the right front? Are you able to change that style, modulate it through the run? There's Blair Russell, a little bit of wiggle there off the corner. I know as a driver, you weep a little bit inside when that happens. You just scream, oh no, there's a little more tire wear gone, left on the pavement. Meanwhile, back here, Bill Sleep, qualified 8th, looking to the inside of Frank Chavez for the 7th position. Bill just trying to do everything he can in order to be consistent. Bill's been pretty good on the long runs here as of late, so I wouldn't be surprised if that 65 truck's just saving something for later. Meanwhile, back up front, the lead is at 0.65 of a second, almost 6.7 as Sumner gets way sideways off the corner. You're going to see trucks do that all night long. I'm going to try to contain my excitement when it comes to that, because it is such a commonplace. These trucks are on the edge of control every single lap. There you go. You saw Blair Russell get into the fence coming out of turn 4. These trucks are durable. They're able to bounce off the wall and keep going. I hear if any of these drivers need any extra parts, I hear O'Reilly Auto Parts, they're doing pretty well right now. So you can go maybe get some extra Truck Series parts from there. Big news out of NASCAR today. Meanwhile, back to the inside, Bill Sleep trying to work over Frank Chavez here for the 7th position. Frank does a good job, burps the throttle, is able to let Bill go out of the corner. No sense in wrecking the truck here on lap 12. Bill up to 7th place. Meanwhile, Justin Sumner almost, he's not quite there yet. He's at 0.94 of a second lead now on Eddie Baker, but Justin cruising right now in the 94 machine. The points leader showing the field why they're all chasing him right now. Ooh, hard hit there. That's a big one from Dakota Ramsdell coming out of turn 3. Anytime you see a truck go airborne like that, as hard as it hits the fence, you got to wonder what kind of wheel damage might be present on that Big Tex Autoplex machine. And sometimes it just comes from drivers racing the same way lap after lap after lap. And they're all trying to get to that lap 32 stage break. And the handling of the truck fades over time. Your grip coming out of the exit fades over time. And that can really sneak up on a driver. And bam! Just go over walls. They just jettison out. Right there as Eddie Baker hard into the fence. Blair Russell also hard into the fence. Baker, I think that was a bigger hit than what we saw on Dakota Ramsdell the last lap. Blair Russell actually is nowhere to be found. I think he might be down pit road. Pulling it off the edge of the racetrack here. And that might be our first retirement of the night. And then we're 7. This is drivers trying to catch the guy out front, which is Justin Sumner, who stretched his lead out because of that contact that previous lap up to 2.3 seconds. You can just kind of cruise right now. You can just, man, Eddie hard into the fence again as now Jared Hayes sets his sights on a podium spot. That 84 truck was strong early on in the run, but the handling starting to slip away there from Eddie. Jared gonna try to make a pass here to the inside. Thinks better of it, settles in. Sometimes here at Dover, it's just good to commit to, well, if this guy's struggling, I'll just stay behind him. I'll wait for another mistake to happen. You can see how Jared's able to really wrap the bottom. Nice disciplined line there from Jared. And Eddie's just, he's kind of like a half a lane up. Then he goes up to maybe a full lane up. Eddie really having to back out of that corner. Jared trying to adjust to it. On board. Good camera action there from Brett over in production. That onboard shot of Jared Hayes. This is the closest battle we have right now on racetrack, so we're going to try to see how Jared sets this pass up. Sometimes here at Dover, it's a matter of backing up your corner entry so far as both trucks get a little wiggly there off of turn 4. Sometimes it's about backing up your quarter entry so far that you're able to roll that bottom, and that's what I've seen a lot here out of the 46s. Now it looks like he's going to be able to get this pass done here on Baker. It just seems like the 46 is so much more planted. Now the 84's in the marbles as he gets sideways, falling now into the clutches of Matthew Erickson. Talked to Matt before the race started. His game plan, save tire, try to come alive later in the run. Erickson doing just that here in the 28. Now, he's a little bit different than Jared. Matt talked about how kind of rolling up about a half lane higher, then waits to the center of the corner before that truck plants. You can see it right there. Look at him hitting that line. Really helps him nicely on exit. Both trucks now sideways. Eddie's trying to cross him over, thinks better of it. Put Matthew Erickson up to 4th place. Back up front, the gap has shrunk between Justin Sumner and Dakota Ramsdell. It's at 2.2 seconds now. But it is very marginally getting smaller between Dakota and Justin. Dakota doing a good job here. Trying to do everything he can to finish in front of that 94 truck at any point during the race. He knows if he does that, then, hey, I've gained some points. See this line here by Dakota, really trying to muscle that truck. You can see that wheel input. He's trying to do everything he can. He actually turns the wheel a little bit there to the right coming out of the corner. That's just because the truck's getting a little more loose than what he cares for. Has to chase it up the hill. Pretty good job at keeping that truck underneath him. Only saw that one big hit out of the 83 truck. Meanwhile, Sumner, I don't think he's left any marks on the wall. I'm actually very impressed with how this race started. The 94 got stuck on the outside lane, and for most, that would be a very uncomfortable position on fresh tires to start a race here at Dover. Able to make that high line work. Pull out to a lead. Stay out of trouble. Drivers out on the racetrack all trying to get in position for stage. As the gap now between Justin Sumner and Dakota Ramsdell sits at just under 2.5 seconds. And it's another 2.5 plus back to Jared Hayes, who's fending off Matthew Erickson right now. Eddie Baker, who faded through the field earlier, has now found himself in 5th. Bill Sleep and Frank Chavez are still duking it out here for the 6th and 7th position. I thought thought Frank was going to fall off there for a little bit, but he's stuck around. I think he might have learned a thing or two here from Bill. Kept that 23 truck underneath him pretty nicely. As I jinxed them both as they come out of turn 4 and hit the fence. Big hit there from the 23. I am so sorry to both of you. I know a commentator's jinx when I see it. Meanwhile, back up front, Justin Sumner gets lap 31. And will be doing everything he can to finish up this stage win. The trucks are pretty spread out from one another right now. But you got to see the comers and goers through the field in this stage. I think that is pretty noticeable. Jared Hayes +3 from where he began. And Eddie Baker -4 from where he started the night. Lap 32 nearing its end now as Justin Sumner puts together a couple more good corners off of turn 4. And that will be Justin Sumner's stage as he secures stage 1 of the night. Give it to the driver out of Twin City, Georgia. Justin Sumner, your points leader, doing what he can to set his sights on the championship. Drivers are going to catch the pace truck right now. And I want to tell you about a couple of our sponsors here for Tier 1 Truck Series action. You can see the graphic there up there to keep track of your favorite driver on pit road, to notice their pit times and see who goes where. Easy Daybot, stream smarter, chat better. Grow your community with Easy Daybot. This innovative Twitch and Discord bot takes interaction to the next level, keeping your audience engaged and connected. Don't just stream, build a community with Easy Daybot. Don't listen to us talk about it when you can try it out right now. And then AdminBoxx. AdminBoxx is built by iRacers for iRacers for the use in leagues and hosted races. The goal is to make race control as easy as possible. Each AdminBoxx connects via USB and features pre-programmed commands. No key binding for race control. The AdminBoxx community is made up of over 150 leagues and many members that all have the common mission to run nice, clean races and to help each other out. That is AdminBoxx and Easy Daybot. Drivers on pit road now looking to make hay here. Good pit stop there from Jared Hayes, 14.4 on the chart. Put him third. Eddie Baker getting much damage fixed on the truck. With that said, we're going to bring up our in-race reporter, Matthew Erickson.
Yes,
Zach
sir.
in the booth. You have, yep. Yeah, hey, you're already ahead of it. You want to talk to the fans out there about stage 1. Looked like grip was being eagerly sought after.
Yeah, like I said before, tire wear off is huge, so I tried to hold back and save some tire. I don't know if I saved enough or not, but I was able to get at least 4th place in the stage, so we'll see if we can figure out something different and see if we can get up a couple more positions.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw some comers and goers in that stage, and you were just kind of, steady Eddie through all that and seemingly following Jared through a lot of what was going on. How do you feel your truck is? Is it better on short run or long run tonight?
Well, I'm hoping it's better on long run. That's why I'm trying to save tires. And yeah, I'm pretty equal with Jared. I think I was catching him there at the end of that run. So I think if we can get a long green flag run in the final stage, I think I might have something for them if I can save some rubber on these tires.
All right, Matt, we'll let you go here and get ready for the restart. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's Matthew Erickson. Says he's got something for him on the long run. Time will tell in that regard as drivers are getting lined up and ready to go. Eddie Baker is back in 7th place after repairing the damage on that 84 Sullivan tire machine. The pace truck bounces off the racetrack. 2 by 2, they come to the restart zone, being led by the points leader, Justin Sumner in the 94. Lurches to the green flag, leaving the field in the dust. Great restart there by Justin, and he will have his lane choice going down into turn 1. Very quickly, the field sorts itself out, minus the battle we have back here in the back of the field. Bill Sleep trying to do everything he can to not get lifted up off the racetrack, because that 84 is coming on short run speed. Matt hard into the fence there. Just trying to get out of the way of Eddie Baker. He knows pretty good on the short run. Really struggled there as the run wore on. Let's see how he's able to save his stuff through this stint. Did he learn anything in order to have something for the front guys? Justin Sumner is pulling away from the field at the moment. See the gap there on the screen. Meanwhile, Matthew Erickson finds himself under attack from Bill Sleep and Frank Chavez. Jared Hayes gets a little wobbly out of the corner. He's able to keep it underneath him and defend well. Superflow machine sitting there in 3rd. This would be big if Jared could put it all together tonight. We know he has the talent. He's been coming on strong, just finds himself in a bit of a hole here in points. Meanwhile, back behind this group, Bill Sleep looking to the inside of Matt Erickson. These two drivers have raced each other very well for the duration of the season. I feel like they're near each other often. Meanwhile, the battle for 3rd heats up with Eddie Baker into the fence, but still carrying momentum, trying to get to the back bumper of the 46 truck. I find this battle very interesting, right? Because Jared was able to reel in Eddie as the run wore on by just staying disciplined, staying down there on that bottom lane, not really venturing anywhere else on the racetrack. I liked how the 46 was planted through that first run as it wore on, as conditions got worse and worse and more challenging. I guess I should probably say, instead of worse for these drivers, just simply more challenging. See Eddie's trying to search, trying to get that truck to rotate, getting it out of that dirty air of the truck in front of him. Just taking a different line in order to apex the corner just a little bit differently than Jared. That's about as far up from the bottom as we've seen the 46, about a quarter of a lane width. I mean, he has been painting the apron tonight. This battle for 3rd is the one that is most close on the racetrack, as the gap between 1st and 2nd. You can see it now on the screen. Continues to grow. Just over a second now, 1.1 seconds between Justin Sumner and Dakota Ramsdale. Sumner finding a rhythm. Remember, Dakota had to pass Eddie and make short work of him in order to set his sights on Justin. We really haven't seen these two drivers near each other for this long in a run quite yet. So this will be a good barometer to see how the rest of the race plays out. Meanwhile, the battle for 3rd continues with Eddie Baker just beating down the door of the podium right now. Here in this stage, he's going to try to sail that truck into the corner, apex the center, get a good run off. It's just not enough right now. That 46 very disciplined on the bottom of the racetrack. It's very, very hard to pass here when trucks get side by side, or even like this, to make a move to get a fender, to get some kind of advantage on the truck in front of you, as these drivers are racing to lap 65, which is our halfway break, which will be the official end of stage 2. see Eddie just screaming the tires off the back end of that Sullivan tire machine. Might have to go into the shop and get some new rear tires for that truck. He's going to make a dive to the inside here of Hayes. This will be for third. Let's see, does Hayes really fight for this? That Superflow machine came on strong. Both sideways out of the corner, and that's something that Baker had to get used to, because remember, he's trying to make that pass work from the outside for so long. Now he dives to the inside, and your corner exit's way more shallow. So you have to crank more wheel into the truck. That's why the truck gets sideways off of the corners. You can really see that a lot more in turn 4 than you do in turns 2. You even saw it right there. A little lesser, though. As Baker continues to try to rip third place away. Now I wouldn't be surprised to see Jared go right back to that low line. Yep. Do what made you come on strong in that first stage. I don't mind battling for positions, but if it comes at the cost of tire, even especially at a track like Dover, make those battles short. Go back to conserving tire wear. The lead is up to 1.3 seconds from Sumner to Ramsdell. Not a lot's going on between these two drivers. Just kind of hoping the other makes a mistake. Hitting your line, falling in love with the consistency of the racetrack. Talked about this all season between these championship drivers. Meanwhile, further on back, you got a trio of guys back here fighting for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Bill Sleep just can't shake off Frank Chavez. Last time I talked about these two drivers, they both hit the fence. Now it's just Frank. But Frank's doing a pretty good job now keeping that truck underneath him. All things considered, that 23 truck has hit the fence a few times coming out of turn 4. And he's been able to continue on. So these trucks are quite durable. But we've seen some nasty hits from different drivers tonight, including Ramsdell. If you remember earlier in stage 1, he hit that wall very, very hard. Able to make the repairs and carry on. The guy who hasn't hit the wall, hasn't hit the marbles, hasn't touched the apron, that'd be this guy. Justin Sumner up front in the 94 machine. Doing everything he can to continue to stretch out the gap. It's up to 1.8 seconds. Let's try to go on board here for a lap from the leader and see what we can learn from him around Dover. I mean, he's the fastest one here, so might as well. See that wheel input? It's very consistent through the corner. Really, through the center, kind of comes down half a lane, doing that thing that Matthew Erickson talked to us about earlier. And then here on this end of the racetrack, a bit more aggressive at covering that apron. Coming out of the corner, just a little bit of wheel input to the right, but that truck looks very planted, very in control. Meanwhile, back behind him, Eddie has now stretched out a 1.2 second gap between him and Jared Hayes. Back behind this group, and this trio of drivers who are separated by about 1.5 seconds between those three. Now the field finds itself pretty spaced out here at Dover. But no need to fear, we're nearing a stage end, as we are now grabbing lap 60 of tonight's event. Remember, stage happens tonight at lap 65. The conclusion of that lap, we will reward more stage points as the championship field continues to be more of a focus. I really am excited for next week's action. We'll crown a champion here in the Truck Series. Sumner doing what's required. As tonight, reminds us of so many races that we've watched through this year where the 94 is dominant early. And before the playoffs began, the common thread was, well, can he finish one? You know, he's been so dominant. He's led so many laps. He's been out front. Last time out, he was able to do that. And I think he put all those rumors to rest. I think the field sort of knows the championship will go through this machine. Got to get the truck underneath him, though, for just a couple more laps. His tire wear continues to be a factor later through the run. But the gap's pretty stable here at about 2 seconds between first and second. Sumner had a bit of a moment off of 4 last time around. Does it again right there. But all in all, it's been the night that Sumner's absolutely wanted. He has led every lap. He has done what is required. And I'm sure he's feeling pretty good about his chances, because if he's able to sustain a lead like this on old tires, I'm sure he's just licking his chops to get some new ones here at the end of the stage. This is the last lap here of stage 2 for Sumner. Barreling down here into turn 3 and 4. You can see the flame out the side of the 94 signaling, hey, he's rolling out of the throttle. Give stage 2 to the driver of the number 94. Winner of stage 1 and stage 2. Justin Sumner's led every lap tonight here from Dover. Great run here. So Sumner making his way around the track, trying to catch the pace car. I want to talk to you about Tier 1 Setup Shop. Racers, it's time to level up. We're proud to introduce Tier 1 Setup Shop, a fresh new name in the iRacing world. It's more than just about fast setups. Our mission, simple. Help you perform your best on track and feel supported off of it. At Tier 1, we're not here to drop a setup and disappear. We believe in feedback, collaboration, and community. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just dipping into your open sets, your input helps us improve every build. We're here with competitive setups for cups, trucks, late models, mods, legends, and more. If you got questions or need adjustments or just want to talk racing, we're here too. Real support, real people, not just transactions. Visit tier1setupshop.com and hop onto the Discord to join the team, give feedback, or just hang out with fellow iRacers. That's Tier 1 Setup Shop. Drivers dive down onto pit road with 4 fresh tires and fuel waiting for them. Who makes the most of their time on and off of pit road? Drivers peeling out. The order stays relatively the same. Bill Sleep with a 14.3 second pit stop. He will get fast pit stop right there. Good for Bill. We're going to bring up our buddy Matt. Matt, it's Zach. You have a copy.
I do, Zach.
14.9 seconds on pit road. You kind of hung back there in the back there for that stage. What'd you learn?
Oh, just trying to run. Excuse me. Trying to run a line that I can save tires on, and seemed to work a little bit better. And just about the end of that stage, I was starting to catch people again. So if we can get a long green flag run, it's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Okay.
I might be able to pick up some positions, but it all depends on how they run the stage. If they split it, then I'm not going to get that long run. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
Okay. Well, Dover is quite the romantic place, Matt, and it chokes me up too. I heard you choking up for a second, so. So we talked earlier in the night about fuel payload. You're still thinking around like 40 laps ish?
Yeah, I would say 42 to 44.
Okay.
So, you know, depending how they run the stage and if the leaders decide to split it or if they try to run it and then just do a quick sprint, we'll see. But yeah, about 42 to 44 laps is where you're going to get to on fuel.
All right, bud. We'll let you go here. Get ready for the restart. Go get him.
Sounds good. Thank you.
That's Matthew Erickson, our in-race reporter tonight. Trying to see how far you can stretch the fuel. Lap 69 will turn into lap 70 here from the Tier 1 Truck Series. Side by side, Sumner will take Dakota Ramsdell into the restart zone, and the 94 gets a great jump there on the bottom again. Not as good as he did last time, though. Ramsdell, I think, did a better job to keep him within earshot. And the whole field has sorted itself out. Coming into turns 3 and 4, Sumner rolling the center of the corner very well. The strength of the 94 machine coming alive early. The question is, how close can Dakota Ramsdell keep it between himself and the 94? I think this is as good of a restart as you saw Matthew Erickson boink off the wall there in turn 2. I think he's no worse for wear. Truck's so finicky on brand new tires. Meanwhile, back here up front, the question will remain as the lead is still continuing to grow, almost up to half a second now. Just a few laps between the 94 and the 83. I think Matt made a really good point. Under caution, how do you separate the stages here in this final stage? What I mean is, yes, your fuel might take you to that 42, maybe 45 window, but the tire fall off is huge tonight. So maybe it's not a matter of fuel. Maybe it's a matter of how many tire sets you have on pit road and how frequent you want to dive down there and use them. Now here at Dover, you're definitely going to go a lap down. There's a very strong possibility you can almost go 2 laps down. But the reality is you can fly around this racetrack on brand new tires. So is anybody willing to risk it? Or is every driver in the field just going to follow suit? Who blinks first? Who makes a mistake? Who comes in short pits? Tries to bring the rest of the field down? I think Ramsdell's biggest play now would be, wow, look at Sumner sideways off the corner. That's about the first and biggest mistake we've seen from the 94 tonight. Got a little finicky towards the end of that run, but nothing quite like that. But as I was saying, I think the biggest play for Dakota right now would be the undercut whenever you decide to pit. Got to be able to come down before the 94, lay down a couple quick laps back on track, leapfrog the 94, and then make your truck wide. Give yourself a chance. You can see that lead continuing to grow. The gap now between Ramsdell and Baker coming into a focus between those two drivers. Justin Sumner doing what he can in order to lay down some fast laps. You can see the view out of the back bumper of the 94 machine's got a great view of the guys chasing him. Why is it so great, you might ask? Well, it's because they keep getting smaller. The lead, especially through the center off, is where Sumner is gaining the most time on track. Just able to be really aggressive with how he apexed that corner. He's not ever too far off the bottom. He's able to really roll the center, get that truck pointed in the right direction, be aggressive on throttle off. I think in part that's might be why he's struggling here lately off of turn 4. as the track continues to rubber up and rubber in. It's a little more slick up there by the wall, so put more throttle down up there. The back end of the truck can get loose. But it has been a Justin Sumner marathon right now. Nobody else has led a lap tonight. But the battle back here for second starting to heat up between Dakota Ramsdell and Eddie Baker. Dakota's done a good job gaining, not necessarily on the leader in points, but he's done a good job at gaining on Eddie, as Eddie found his fortune in stage 1, and then stage 2, Dakota also beat him there. So this is a good pass for Eddie to just kind of stop the bleeding between him and his nearest point competitor. That isn't Justin Sumner. Because, yeah, we're going to be talking a lot about the championship next week, but these drivers who are all up here racing for points have a lot to race for. Payouts everywhere to be found, and every position matters. Look at Eddie sideways off the corner there. Huge slide from the 84 machine. The lead between first and second, now 1.6 seconds. We're going to take a look back here in the pack. And these two still tied at the... still tied fender to fender, one to another. Bill Sleep and Frank Chavez getting to know each other a lot here in Dover, Delaware. Battling for the 6th position. Every time we look at these guys, there's a chance they might wreck. So I try not to bring them up too often, but they're doing a pretty good job at just keeping the truck underneath them. We make much about Bill and his consistency here. It's good that Frank is able to stick behind him, maybe learn a thing or two. Jared Hayes up here in the 4th position. Haven't really talked a lot about Jared since Eddie made that pass on him in stage 2. But he's found a home here in 4th place. It might all go away, though, if Matt gets his way, our in-race reporter. He really wants that long run. And this is the closest battle here we have on track. 6th and 7th position. Bill +2 from where he started. Let's go on board here from Frank. You see the 65 wiggling a little bit out of the corner. Frank able to wrap the bottom. You see Bill extend that coming out of center off. Both drivers able to keep it off the fence, keep it clean. This battle here just won't go away either. Wow, Eddie Baker sideways off the corner. Him and Dakota both, but Eddie went for another big slide. I just feel like every time the 84 is within striking distance of the 83, something happens. He gets sideways coming out of turn 4, then he has to make up all that ground he just clawed back. I mean, he's struggling, but he's quick. The gap between first and second has plateaued at about 1.6 seconds. You can see there on the chart. Not really running out, running away. It's not like it's a 3.5 second gap or anything. Definitely manageable. 4 pit stops, and we're seeing it right now. Jared Hayes dives down on pit road. Starting the pit run early. Pit road is such a challenging place here at Dover. You have to miss the barrels. You got to be able to get that truck load way down. And there we'll go. Jared Hayes' 1 lap. I'll be really curious to see different strategies starting to play out from these drivers. Jared goes in early. He's peeling off now, trying to exploit the undercut. This would actually be really big if he could get it up through the gears. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it back out in front of Justin Sumner. He will not. That might actually be a problem for second and third. Ooh, Eddie catching him in a bad spot. That's going to affect the 84's exit sideways. And that's all fine and dandy, but now Jared's got his own agenda. On fresh tires, he's got to make his way up through the field. Frank Chavez now finds himself on pit road. He goes, I'm tired of looking at the back of Bill Sleep's bumper. I'm coming down pit road. Maybe I'll get to be in front of Bill by the time it all cycles away. This is really important now for Jared Hayes. You have to make up time. You can't spend all of your time battling these guys. I know there's a line of being respectful, trying to do it the smart way. But you can't spend forever trying to get around these lead lap trucks. The whole reason why you pit early is you kind of hope, especially in a field like this where you kind of hope, hey, I can get out of pit road and I can just get some clean racetrack. I can put down some fast lap times. That didn't quite work out for Jared. He's trying to do everything he can now. You see just how much fresh tires matter on the 46 truck. Frank Chavez is still on pit road, actually. Wonder if Frank might have sped. Normally we would get an indicator of some sort that he sped. Justin Sumner moving out of the way so that the lap truck, Jared Hayes, get one lap back. I don't know if Frank's repairing damage. I mean, he's on pit road for quite some time as Justin Sumner gets into the fence right there. That's going to bring the top three closer together, as close as they've been most of the night here. And now you could really start talking about the undercut. Now, as close as they are, Eddie could even come down pit road and leapfrog these two, depending on where he comes out on the racetrack. Top three trucks all find themselves within a second of each other, as the handling's starting to go away on the 94 machine. And there he is. He's coming down pit road. Frank Chavez is leaving. Oh man, Sumner trying to get it slowed down. That was saw the 94 kind of dip back up onto the racetrack as he was getting onto pit road. And now how long do the front two stay out, knowing that Sumner is on pit road? Frank Chavez on pit road for a total of 1 minute and 39 seconds. It's going to put him way behind the 8-ball here. Sumner finds himself in his pit stall now. You can see the timer go. Pitting on lap 99. There he goes. So Sumner clean in and clean off. Let's see what kind of racetrack he gets as Eddie Baker continues to be sideways off of turn 4. Does Sumner wind up in front of these two? And you can't mess up pit road exit either. You got to stay in that blue line. And I think this is the perfect spot for Justin Sumner. Not behind these two drivers. He doesn't have to fight them. He can just put down nice fast laps behind other drivers who've also pitted. So in my opinion, the longer you stay out with Dakota and Eddie's strategy, it's going to be harder to reel in 94 when it all cycles back around. Remember, the gap between first and third was about a second. As Eddie Baker now on the pit lane. I'm really curious to see where this all cycles out. Remember, Matt Erickson, he talked about how, I hope everybody stays out. I hope everybody runs long. I have faith in my truck that I'm able to keep good lap time. Matt finds himself in the second position because he is staying out right now. There he is. Our in-race reporter. There's Bill Sleep, who also hasn't pitted. Eddie Baker, 9.8 seconds on pit road right before that graphic went away. So I don't know if Eddie's doing something. I mean, he has to be doing something different. Let's see where Baker slots back into on the racetrack. I mean, Sumner's trying to make his way around, but yeah, there's Eddie further back behind this group. Great battle here between Jared Hayes, Frank Chavez, who spent a long time on pit road. You can see he's down 5 laps. Frank's out here just trying to learn and gain some experience at this point. As of this moment, it's all gonna cycle back around to Justin Sumner in the lead. You can see, I mean, as pit road started, Jared Hayes was miles away from the leader. Now he's only 2 seconds out from Justin Sumner's gap. That will continue to grow as the tire advantage continues to show itself between those two drivers. Meanwhile, back up front, Dakota Ramsdale finds himself cruising along. He's very content with stretching out the fuel. 2 drivers on the track have not pitted yet. That would be himself and our in-race reporter, Matthew Erickson, who sits 6.5 seconds back of our leader. I mean, this would be huge if somehow this strategy worked for Dakota. As Dakota now pulls down onto pit road, missing the barrels, doing a good job. Bring Dakota Ramsdale on pit road. And Matthew Erickson following. And now the race to get back on the lead lap and the cycle back around begins. Eddie Baker just passing Jared Hayes. They will be chasing Justin Sumner. Dakota's still getting serviced, and look at that. I told you, those laps on those tires, that would be huge for the driver of the 94. If you remember, the gap between first and third was just under a second, as each driver seemed to be evenly spaced out from one another. The gap now between first and second, over 5 seconds between Sumner and Baker. Ramsdale, he's not even in third anymore. When this pit cycle started, Ramsdale was second, Baker was third, and because Jared Hayes pitted so early, that has helped him tremendously. So now what's the hope? Well, the hope is to not hit the wall like Jared Hayes. The hope now is if your guys like Dakota Ramsdale, guys like Matthew Erickson, these long runs will now mean you have the freshest tires in the field. You can go and attack those guys who are stayed out, 17 laps to go. But ultimately, 17 to go, I don't know if it's really in the cards with a gap that large. I know, I'm like Dr. Seuss up here in the booth. Everybody get jealous. The gap between first and second remains at just over 5.6 seconds. It's threatening to continue to grow because Sumner has found himself with a car that handles well. Just got to continue to hit his marks. I'm sure Matthew Erickson's trying everything in his power to possibly unlap himself with the fresh tires. Him and Bill Sleep are now going at it. This is a battle for the fifth position rather, and for the lucky dog in case there would be a caution. So a lot to play for here between these two drivers. Matt working his way up the racetrack. Got to be careful, not hitting the pebbles. Matt on 5-lap fresher tires. Looks like the balance of that truck has gone away as Dover continues to take on more and more rubber here. The guy who's just letting it all hang out right now is Dakota Ramsdell. He's doing everything he can to try to reel in Eddie Baker. And with 12 laps to go, there's just not a lot here. The gap between first and second continues to grow. Been Justin Sumner's night. Came down, pitted on lap 99. And has done a really good job at managing the field, maneuvering his way through, maximizing his lap time, leaving pit road. When he comes to the stripe, it will be 10 laps to go here from Dover. Right now, there are 4 trucks on the lead lap. First car, 1 lap down, would be Bill Sleep in 5th. You can see Bill just in that shot behind our race leader. I mean, you think about Bill's night. Bill was hanging around in 6th, 7th most of the day. Just kind of maximizing what the truck had underneath him. I think being able to bring this truck home in a top 5 would be a good effort from him. I'll tell you what, Dakota Ramsdell, the gap between him and Eddie Baker is shrinking, and the gap between him and the leader is also shrinking. The problem, it's not shrinking at a second a lap. So that's what Ramsdell would need in order to catch the leader. Now, does he have enough to catch second? I don't know. It's going to be close. Maybe not with turn 4s like that. Come on, Dakota. But these drivers are doing everything they can to secure as many points as possible. And remember, this pass between these two drivers, if it does happen, that would be really big because Dakota was able to outscore Eddie Baker in both stages. And then to say, not only did I do that, but I beat you on the track by 1 spot. That's a max day for Dakota as he's trying to get second place in the championship. Every spot matters. And when the gap was 13 points between second and third, this could be the difference. And with 5 laps to go, it's becoming more and more clear that Eddie's struggling. Keep the handle underneath that truck. I think what we saw on pit road was true. I'm fairly certain I did see about a 9.8 second pit stop from him. Very well. Very well could have taken 2. Gotten word from the booth. Him and Dakota both took 2 tires. Look at that truck just sideways. We're just assuming up here in the booth their strategy. Assuming everything plays out in the next 3 laps, we're going to be able to hear from them in our post-race interviews what exactly they did. With this battle here for second shaping up, can Dakota reel him in? You just see how much more momentum Dakota is able to get off the corner. 7 lap fresher tires. able to really hug the bottom. Little wiggly, hitting the fence. 2 laps to go between these two drivers. A lot to play for. Sideways out of turn 2. We got some action here. Looking with 1 lap to go. Justin Sumner well ahead of this battle, 5 seconds. These two drivers duking it out, not just for a place on the podium, but for an opportunity to maybe get second in the championship. Is there a bump? Is a bump coming? He's right on his bumper, pushes him up the racetrack, sideways out of turn 2, and that's how second place will end. It was a foregone conclusion, though. Justin Sumner, your race winner here at Dover, leading all the laps he possibly could before he went down pit road. When everything cycled back around, Justin had a huge lead on the field. He's gonna win by about 5 seconds. And make no mistake, the driver out of Twin City, Georgia, is making it known the championship will be going through him come next week. Frank Chavez, like, all I want to do is finish the race. We're going to go side by side so you don't miss a thing. When it comes to celebrations, we'll be right back for driver interviews.
At Tier 1 Setup Shop, we're not just setup builders. We're racers, league admins, and part of the same sim community you are. We build setups for the full NASCAR ladder, Cup, Xfinity, Trucks, ARCA, and the grassroots warriors of short track racing, late models, legends, SK, and tour mods, all tested and refined in real race conditions. We listen, we adjust, we improve, because your input makes our setups better.
Are you looking for a league that has racing 3 nights a week or special event races? Tier 1 Racing League is here for you. Most races are broadcasted by our very own Tier 1 studio. From dirt track to super speedways, Tier 1 has side-by-side racing with real drivers and real rivalries. If you wish to join us, go to our website, tier1racingleague.com, where you can find our Discord link and much more information. Don't forget to subscribe to our Tier 1 Studio YouTube and Twitch channels so you don't miss the action.
Are you ready to take your Twitch and Discord experience to the next level? Introducing EasyDayBot, your ultimate bot for seamless interaction. Whether you're live on Twitch or chatting on Discord, EasyDayBot's dynamic responses open up a whole new world of possibilities. Engage with your community like never before through unique prompts, custom reactions, and endless fun. It's the bot that understands you. Make every day an Easy Day download now at easydaybot.com.
New to Tier 1, first-time customers get 30% off your first purchase, excluding subscriptions. And if you're a streamer, league, or broadcaster, join our sponsorship program. Share your code, your community gets 10% off, and you earn $1 per setup sold with it. Tier 1 Setup Shop. Built with you, built for you. Every lap, every week.
And we are back here from Dover. We are actually going to bring in our first place finisher, Justin Sumner, up in the booth. It's Zach Woods. You got a copy?
That I do, sir.
Man, oh man, you smoked them. There's no other word for it. You started right up front. You got the lead off the green flag, and you just never looked back. I don't know how you could tell the fans about your night here at Dover, because for a while there's nobody out your windshield. Talk to the fans tonight about your experience.
That just goes to show you, if I can get a green flag run and get that undercut, I'm pretty dangerous as far as that goes. So and that's about as good as I could put it, because really when you're the leader on a long green flag run, it's up to you really. Dakota had a good strategy if we had a big field where there could possibly be a caution. I was kind of disappointed with as many vehicles as it had tonight, but man, you got to run with what you dealt with, and so I figured more than likely I'd have a green flag run, so I figured just try to split it down the middle if I could. I did start getting a little too tight. Excuse me, hold on one second. Oh, I thought I had a sneeze coming. But we just try to split it down the middle, basically. This track is all about line and saving tire, and that second run I was getting a little, they was catching up on me because I was missing my line over and over again, just going in too hot, so I knew I had to hurry up and make something happen and go ahead and come to pit road.
Well, you did a great job. I mean, it was really a masterclass here at Dover for you tonight. Look, I think we can start talking about it. You came into tonight with a 7-point lead. You're going to leave here tonight with an even bigger lead. I know there's a job set in front of you for next week, but now we can start thinking about it. You're going to have an opportunity, a very real one, to go and win the championship next week at Vegas.
Yeah, I'm really excited about tonight, being able to pull off a win here at arguably one of my worst tracks, because I kill the tires here. So if we had a long green flag run, which we did, and if I had a lot of competition on me, because what my main thing here is I get out to a lead and then lose it. But being able to pull off a win here is definitely a lot of momentum going to Vegas. I treat Vegas a lot like Kansas as far as my drive line and things like that, because they're very similar. And we see how Kansas treated me last week or the week before. So we will see. We'll see how that goes, and hopefully with a strong finish, at least be able to pull it off if I don't get the win.
All right, Justin. I'm getting word that unofficially you're 18 points up on Eddie going into next week. So you got a bit of a cushion to play with. You got a lot of momentum, obviously, on your side. But what about tonight? Do you have any thank you sponsors or shout outs you want to give here for a win at Dover?
Oh, absolutely. You, Zach, and Brett putting on some good material and good league. I've really enjoyed this league a lot. My teammates over at Black Car Mafia, Terry, Scotty, Rev, DC, Amanda Made Creations and Custom Sublimations, Sambo's Hog Trough Seasoning, Black Sunshine Designs, Tier 1, of course. Appreciate everybody. It's been an awfully good season, and hopefully we could cap it off with a championship, and we'll see where that takes us.
Well, he came in tonight as your points leader. He will leave Miles the Monster as the points leader. That's Justin Sumner. Go and enjoy it, man.
Thanks, Zach.
Taking a look now at second place. We'll be getting Eddie Baker up here in the booth now. Eddie, it's Zach Woods. You have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Well, let me tell you, you and Dakota made those last few laps very interesting towards the end of this one. 83 hounding you down. You were able to keep the truck underneath you, keep the 83 behind you, and snag second place tonight. So talk to the fans about your experience here around Dover.
Yeah, it was pretty tricky. Track position was definitely key. I mean, once Sumner got around me on the start there, he kind of just set sail. Clean air definitely was the deciding factor here. I got pretty aero tight behind him. Dakota and I were just talking. He said the same thing. You get real aero tight behind everybody. I ended up not trying to knock the wall down in stage one and bent the the toe, so I had a hard time finishing that stage. I think I was down to 40 something percent on the right front because of that. Had to fix some damage at the end of stage 1. I mean, it started off real free, fired off real free, and then got tighter, and then it did some weird things. I noticed the cloud cover changed a little bit. Once it started getting sunny, it really came to life, but then it went back to cloudy, so I don't know if I ever had anything for Justin. Just happy to get the pole and try and salvage some points, but definitely kept my eye on the relative and saw Dakota coming, and all I could do was mirror drive and try not to wreck him or myself. And I mean, we were just talking. It was hell of a battle there the last couple of laps. I definitely lucked out there, but I enjoyed it.
Well, it definitely put on a show for us here in the booth. It's kind of it was very refreshing there towards the end. All these people were spaced out, and here comes this awesome battle with 5 laps to go. So definitely putting on a show for us up here. Do you have any strategy, or how about let's just go a little more specific? How does next week at Las Vegas fare for you and your driving style? You're going to be a little bit more behind the 8 ball here with this points performance this week. But are you looking forward to Las Vegas as the final race of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good track for me. Honestly, these last 3 tracks are some of my top tracks. Tonight, just kind of, I missed it. That's all. I couldn't really get a grasp on what I wanted for setup out of it, but definitely happy to have last week's finish and then going into Las Vegas. I mean, as long as it doesn't kind of stay as a drafting race, if we can space out and actually race these things without drafting, it'll be a lot of fun. If it's drafting, I mean, I guess it's whoever can save the tires riding in line the longest and get past the leader at the end there. But it kind of suits my driving style. I just kind of think that at this point Sumner's got the championship locked. So unless he doesn't show up or suffers a really bad crash in the beginning there, I don't think I really have a shot.
Well, you had a great performance tonight. Came away with P2. Do you have any thank you sponsors or shout outs you want to give for tonight's effort?
Yeah, thank the Sullivan Tire for being on the truck every week. We definitely tried hard to go for this championship, so I appreciate them for being there. Alyssa, T, grandmother, parents, anybody else that's watching that stuck with it. Thank you guys for what you're doing, and I know it's determining fate for what's going on with the rest of this, but it's been fun, and hopefully we get to do some more of it, but if not, it's been real.
All right, man. You go and enjoy it. I know it wasn't everything you wanted, but hey, P2 anywhere, nothing to shake a stick at. So go and enjoy this P2 effort.
Appreciate it.
And that is Eddie Baker finishing second. And then we're going to pull up the guy who probably gave us the biggest show down the stretch, Dakota Ramsdale. It's Zach Woods up in the booth.
Hey, man.
Hey, I mean, come on. Those last 10 laps had to have been a blast. You were flying.
Yeah, I mean, for what I could. I mainly wanted to catch second. I didn't think I could catch Sumner. And sure enough, I caught second. But I couldn't get around him. These trucks get really tight when you're behind one another in the aero. And, yeah, I kind of ran him hard and beat his back bumper off a little bit. And I mean, I didn't want to wreck him, but I knew I was going to have to move him, and I just couldn't get around him. But yeah, P3, but it ain't enough. I know that.
Well, it's unfortunately, we're in the time of the year where, especially with you guys, we're talking about points racing way more than we are individual efforts at a racetrack, and good runs kind of get lost in the shuffle because, well, it's you're fighting against guys up top for points. But talk to the fans tonight, just specifically about Dover. What about this track suited you? That 83 came alive in the second stage. It looked like you had something for Justin, at least for the first part of the third stage. What out there really resonated with you? Was challenging for you tonight here at Dover?
Man, just having a consistent lap time was the challenging part here. Dover's a really fun track. You know, of course, high bank, mile, concrete track. I love concrete tracks, big tire wear tracks, and it makes it more of a driver's track than anything. And no, I just failed to lay down a consistent time over and over and over again. I could keep up with Justin, and I could match his times, but I was only matching his times when he had a second or 2 second lead on me. And once he got out that far, I couldn't run him down for anything. So we decided to play the long strategy there, and on that final pit stop, we only took 2 tires, and we did some testing in the practice and found out that you can run this setup on 2 tires, and it feels decent. You know, you're about a tenth off the fast lap pace, and so we took 2 tires and came out, and then I noticed Sumner was 11 seconds in front of me, and I knew I could catch and pass Hayes because he had dove down pretty quick, and yeah, I mean, I caught up to Baker, and the rest is history at that point. But yeah, it was a fun night. It was a good points night. I feel like we're a little late to make that points run. We've been giving her all she's got this postseason, but unfortunately, I think that's gonna do it, and I'll be racing for second, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, good news in terms of perspective on points. You did a good job at capitalizing where Eddie struggled. You know, Eddie talked about in his interview, he hit the wall pretty hard there in stage 1 and fell back. So you beat him there. And then in stage 2, you also were able to beat him. And then you were just 1 space away from getting ahead of him there. And that's the guy that you're racing for second in the championship. And to come into tonight, race the way you did, it the very least, I think you've made next week at Las Vegas a little bit more obtainable to climb up 1 more spot on the chart.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 behind Eddie and 28 behind Justin.
So yeah, just off of this 1 race, I mean, I gained 10 points if I ain't mistaken or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens next week. I love Vegas. It's a good 1.5 miles. But if you remember back in the season, man, me and Baker, we kind of dominate the 1.5 miles. You know, like Texas. You know, we had that great race there at Texas, and you know, we were door banging coming off of 4. We'll see what happens next week, but it's going to be a shootout between me and him for second for sure, and I'll for sure, you know, congratulate Sumner. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's going to lock him in there. I mean, it's going to take a miracle for us to even think about getting it, but yeah.
Well, do you have any thank yous, sponsors, or shout outs you want to give for tonight's effort here at Dover?
Yeah, man. All my friends and family watching, my wife supporting me and letting me, you know, sit down and do this every Monday night. Everybody at the fire station watching, of course, Big Tex Autoplex, you know, my buddy Chase down there, pontoon stuff and deck mate, you know, for you know, supporting everything, and that's about it. And y'all for doing the broadcast, man.
All right. Well, Dakota, 3rd place tonight, inches away from maybe beating the bumper off of Eddie to go and get second. I know that's not how you wanted to go about doing it, but
Yeah.
thank you for putting on a show for the rest of us up here. Hard fought battle, finishing 3rd. Go and enjoy it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
So that is Dakota Ramsdell finishing P3 tonight. Let's take a look at your finishing results. It will be Sumner, Baker, Ramsdell, your top 3, with Jared Hayes pitting down early, able to come home 4th. Bill Sleep is able to finish 5th, with Matthew Erickson 6th. Frank Chavez finishes 4 laps down after a lengthy pit stop in 7th. And Blair Roussel finishing just 15 laps of tonight's event will round out your field tonight here from Dover Motor Speedway. We want to encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe here on Tier 1 Studio, where you can find next week's championship race from Las Vegas for the Tier 1 Truck Series. Hope to see you next week as drivers try to lay claim for the Tier 1 Truck Series Championship. My name is Zach Woods, and for my partner up here in the booth, Behind the curtain, producer Brett Bullard. We want to thank you for tuning in and have a great night, everybody.